guys, PrinceofMacedon here, gonna do a commentary video for Rome Total War. This is an online multiplayer battle, and this is part of my What If series, where I match two commanders who had never faced each other in battle. And in my last battle, I commanded Hannibal versus Alexander the Great, and in the next battle, this one, I command Alexander the Great versus Hannibal. My opponent is different this time though, but I am commanding Alexander the Great's Macedonian army that he brought to Gaugamela, and my opponent is bringing the Carthaginian army commanded by Hannibal, as seen at the Battle of Cannae. That said, the Carthaginians do not get their Gallic warriors, and I do not get my city-state hoplites. This is actually my left wing here. This is where Parmenion would have commanded. And my Macedonian cav here, they represent the Thessalian cav of Macedon. But yeah, as I said, the left wing was more of a defensive system. Like, they usually defended the army, while Alexander the Great on the right would have struck. So Alexander the Great was more of the sword, and Parmenion was more of the shield. But after doing some intense scouting, me and Parmenion came to the conclusion that the Numidian cav were quite a threat. So I'm going to give Parmenion permission to attack those Numidian cav. And Alexander the Great, he had all kinds of experience fighting against light horsemen. He fought against the infamous horse archer armies of Scythia, and of course all of the Persians, they had all kinds of horse archers and other kinds of light horsemen. So this is my left wing. This is where Parmenion was stationed, and we're doing battle with these Numidian cav. And as I said in the last battle, the Carthaginian army at Cannae would have had a much bigger cav arm compared to Alexander at Gaugamela. The Carthaginians would have had around 10,000 horsemen, whereas Alexander the Great would have had about 7,000 horsemen. But as I said, when Alexander went east, he faced much bigger odds than this. But yeah, we recognize the threat of the Numidians, and we're going to go after them. As I was saying, Alexander the Great was more of a direct commander. He preferred more direct action, and so he could be heroic, be the first one into combat, stuff like that. But that did not mean Alexander the Great did not use ruses and tricks in battle. When he had to, he did use them. I'll get to that in a second, but right here you can see my light cav got a little too far ahead of my heavier cav, but that's fine. We've got these Numidian cav cornered by my Thessalian cav, along with some support from my mercenaries here, and we're going to oust those Numidians from the battlefield before I launch the rest of my army into combat. But yeah, back to ruses and cunning. Alexander the Great, he did use it when he had to. At the Battle of the Jaxartes River, when he fought against the Scythian horse archer army, he had to send a decoy force ahead. He made the Scythians think that he was crossing in force, but they decided to surround the advanced element of his army, and so they surrounded them as they usually do and started circling them and shooting them with their arrows. But what they didn't realize was that Alexander the Great was encircling them. And another famous battle was the Battle of the Hydaspes River, and in that battle he tricked Porus into thinking that he was across from him, across the Jaxartes River, when in reality Alexander the Great split his army and he marched behind Porus's army, and he fell upon his army when he least expected it. And to make the deception even more cool, was Alexander the Great actually dressed one of his warriors to look just like Alexander the Great. So Alexander did use trickery when he had to. He wasn't one-dimensional. Alright, so look at the action here. All kinds of chaos here. My opponent's going for my left, and I'm going for his right. This is Alexander the Great. I found the gap in his army. I'm going to go right through it. I'm going to launch the decisive blow, just like Alexander the Great would have done. He would have waited for that gap to open before he launched his decisive charge with his companions. And look at this charge my opponent made on my left. He's going right after my Parmenion. But I was able to counter in time when I brought my Thessalian cav back to countercharge. As you guys know, my Thessalians were way up there fighting his Numidians, but I brought them back ASAP. So here's the fight now. Here's Alexander the Great going for his general. Alexander versus Hannibal, look at this. Well, they're on the same screen, but they're not fighting each other directly. But yeah, that's my goal. Look for the gap, make the decisive charge, and then go for the enemy's commander. And Hannibal's running away, so I'm going to pursue him with Alexander. Here's Alexander, and here's Hannibal. Hannibal's going to give me the runaround. And look what I'm doing to his infantry. I'm destroying them. But my opponent had a really good charge at the beginning when he went after my left. And while he was going for my left, I was going right for his gap. So we're dealing with these Iberian infantry. And I sent some of my other cav to deal with his elements out here. What are these? These are his Spanish mercenaries. And you can see here, I finally caught up to Hannibal. And we're going to go at it. Look at this. Hannibal versus Alexander, round 2. We kill Hannibal. But then Alexander gets countercharged by Hannibal's cav here. And look at that. Alexander the Great dies. So just like the last battle, we both lose our generals. But in this case, we both die. But, you can see the Macedonian army is victorious. Look at this, guys. Here I'm routing his dudes, picking them clean, and I'm going to send my my lancers. These are my Prodamoi. I'm going to pursue those bandits who assassinated Alexander the Great. How dare they? I'm going to go right for him. Where I thought it was. Okay, here we go. I'm not sure what I was doing there. But now we're going to go right for these bandits over here. Not only did they kill Alexander, but they also chased down my routing units. Those are my archers. And he sees my Prodamoi coming. I'll just call him Prodamoi. And he's going to stop right here. And here comes my lancers. It's kind of like a western standoff. Look at this. We're gonna charge right into each other. This is the ultimate climax, guys. And they rout. We're gonna chase them now. Let them feel the vengeance of Alexander's ghost, whatever. Anyways, good game to my opponent. And in this round, Alexander triumphs over Hannibal.